bitter cold, icy roads, and whiteout conditions.
Winter is here, but the way we're fighting back has changed.
From new road treatments to cutting-edge tracking technology.
This will allow us the opportunity to know how we need to treat those particular areas.
The battle against the elements is getting a high-tech upgrade.
The carbohydrate and the chloride, that synergy together is what is the magic.
And in Perfect North, even the snow itself is getting a modern makeover.
We can make tons of volume of snow when it's cold.
Join us over the next 30 minutes for a look at weather tech in the tri-state and your complete winter outlook.
Weather tech in the tri-state. A FOX19 Now First Alert weather special. Sponsored by Roof Prodigy.
It's all quiet here at the city's Salt Dome off Coleraine Avenue right now. But when winter weather approaches, this place is a hub of activity. The city's plow trucks leave from here, now with new technology to fight off the flakes. This season's snowfall is trending way above normal. Officially, the tri-state has seen more than 13 inches at the airport already, which is more than half of what we typically see all season. And we're just getting started. But unlike in years past, this year's city crews are working smarter with a new data-driven snow response system and a new public services director. The city tells us at this time last year, crews were actually using paper maps. Now their cabs are equipped with computer tablets and trackers, which officials say is a game changer to optimize the routes and share real-time info back to dispatch. An interactive map shows whether streets are pre-treated, salted, or plowed.
It was incredibly helpful for the DPS team as we worked through pre-treating all the city streets, which I think really resulted in great conditions this morning. It worked throughout the night, and then as a result of all of the increased interest, which we appreciate, we had some server issues.
I talked to the city's communications office, and they told me they want residents to be able to log in and see for themselves where the more than 65 trucks are out working. In the short term, more server capacity is being added, and the long-term goal is to move to a cloud-based system. In addition, drones are monitoring snow conditions, and soon 10 weather stations across the city will provide additional real-time data.
We can also get the depth of the snow and also the road temperature. This will allow us the opportunity to know how we need to treat those particular areas.
So it's actually pretty helpful that we're getting a holiday break from winter weather, so the final improvements for all these plows can get perfected and ready to be activated. Meteorologist Aaron Ashley has more on a new additive that you're going to find in these plows and out on the roads.
That's right. The city of Cincinnati is using a new technology this winter season. It's called Beat Heat, and chances are you've already seen it out there on the roads.
What? Really? You put sugar in it?
Beat Heat is an award-winning de-icer that prevents ice from forming out on the roads. It is used widely around the country, including by the Ohio and Indiana Departments of Transportation. But this year, the city of Cincinnati is using it to get ahead of the winter storms.
It would give us an opportunity to slow down the bonding process so that when we start plowing, we're not plowing over ice.
Beat Heat is a combination of salts and sugars. It's a liquid that has a milky consistency and it's brown in color. Denver Preston with K-Tech Specialty Coatings, the manufacturers of Beat Heat, says it works thanks to common chemistry.
When you put the two together, the carbohydrate and the chloride, that synergy together is what is the magic. It doesn't refreeze as quickly.
Preston says because Beat Heat has such a high sugar content compared to salt content, it's not going to corrode your car as quickly as other de-icers. The sugar also activates the de-icing science behind the salts, suggesting the Beat Heat in combination with other de-icers is what will really get the job done.
Salt is effective down to about 15 degrees. Rock salt with Beat Heat on it is effective down to at least 25 below zero.
Mark Riley, the Director of Public Services for the City of Cincinnati, says this was one of the main reasons for Cincinnati using the product.
I wanted to make the investment into, number one, bringing in a project that can effectively eliminate or slow down the process of the ice bonding to the road, but most importantly, something that was not going to be corrosive to the roads or to our infrastructure.
And while Beat Heat is not necessarily a new product, it is new to the city of Cincinnati. And they really anticipate that this new product is just going to be a surefire way to keep you safe out on the roads this winter season. I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. Back to you.
When winter weather hits, parents often wake up wondering whether schools will be open, delayed, or closed. But those decisions don't happen overnight. Snow-covered roads, icy sidewalks, and bitter cold temperatures. These are just some of the factors school districts monitor closely when deciding whether students should be in class.
So first and foremost, the first factor that we always consider is safety. Safety of our students, our staff, our community.
Superintendent Jonathan Cooper says road conditions play a major role, especially when young and inexperienced drivers are involved.
We have new drivers, young drivers, and so especially early in the season, it's their first time out on snow or ice.
With today's weather technology, school district leaders can closely monitor forecasts, snowfall, and temperature, helping reduce the impact of weather conditions on school operations. Still, ice remains one of the most unpredictable challenges.
Ice is another factor that's really tricky. Some of the snow might melt during the day with the sun. It turns into ice again in the morning.
Those decisions often start long before most families wake up. Crews are out overnight clearing lots, while district leaders are on the roads early in the morning, checking conditions firsthand. In Mason City Schools, a small group of administrators take to the streets to make the final call.
And we have a group of 4 of us that actually go out and test the roads. And I'm one of those. My chief operations officer goes out, and our transportation director.
The goal is to notify families as early as possible, usually by 5 a.m., so parents can plan their day.
We hope to make the decision by 5 in the morning at the latest, and so that we can inform our families.
While snow days can disrupt work schedules and childcare plans, district leaders say safety always outweighs convenience.
If it's not safe for kids to be out on the roads, we're going to make a decision to close or to delay.
And while Ohio has moved from counting snow days to tracking instructional hours, Cooper says Mason City has flexibility built into its calendar.
And because Mason City School has more hours than the state requirement, then we have a little bit more flexibility in that.
As for remote learning, while technology offers options, the district still treats most weather closures as true snow days.
We do not try to make that a full remote school day. We just keep that as a snow day.
District leaders say while the process isn't perfect, every decision comes down to one thing: making sure students and staff get to and from school safely. That's where Anna comes in, breaking down the science of how salt helps combat icy roads and the corrosion concerns that come with it.
Salt. It's something we use in our daily cuisine, to make food edible. But while this tastes good on popcorn and on fries, this is the kind of salt that's very important during those winter weather months.
And no, I'm not talking about seasoning soups. I'm talking about seasoning the roads. During the winter months, salt is spread across the roadways to make traveling delicious. Safer. By melting snow and ice, salt helps improve slick spots and improves traction for drivers.
But here's the catch. Just like salt isn't great for your diet, feeding your car too much salt isn't very healthy either. Salt sticks around long after the roads dry up. So it's sticking around on the roadways, clinging to the bottom of your car, and that's when the trouble starts.
Salt works by lowering the freezing point of water, so when it mixes with the snow and ice, it turns into a salty slushy, helping prevent dangerous, slippery roads. Sounds great, right?
Salt can be very damaging to a vehicle.
And the damage doesn't stop when winter ends.
Other than being proactive and don't wait, just because the light is on, there's obviously something going wrong with the car. You may have a traction light that's come on, an anti-skid light that's come on, a brake light that's on. Something's been affected by the cold weather. Have it checked out. Don't wait or delay because you're just causing more problems in the future.
So while salt keeps you safe on the road, your car might appreciate a little less seasoning.
That's why it's recommended you regularly wash your car in the winter.
So if you're going to go through the car wash, get the extra added car wash, it's added value, and get the underneath cleaned off as well. That's very important.
Salt acts as an electrolyte, speeding up the chemical reaction between metal, oxygen, and water, causing iron to rust much faster. This is why frequent car washes, especially one that offers an undercarriage spray to flush out the salt from all the hidden areas, is so important.
Reporting from Oakley, I'm FOX19 Now First Alert meteorologist Anna Duval.
The ramp right here at CVG is constantly busy with planes, you've got cars, you've got people. So you can imagine how crazy it could get when winter weather strikes. Crews tell me it's all hands on deck when that happens to make sure that you can get to your destination safely.
Winter weather prep is year-round at the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport.
It may be 90 degrees out and you're at the pool, but we have our snow removal equipment out and we're getting ready for that next event.
But when the weather calls for snow and ice, plans are put into action. Casey Keenosh, the director of operations for CVG, says they start by monitoring ground temperatures.
So we have pucks in all of our runways and in different surfaces that tell us that surface temperature. Because as you know, if it's 35 degrees out, we're good. If it's 25 degrees out, we're below freezing in the air, but is the surface necessarily below that?
Those readings help crews determine which tools to use and when. That's where Tim Hazlip, the vice president of maintenance at CVG, and his team come into play. He showed us their fleet of snow fighters.
This one sweeps 26 foot at one time, and that one's about 18 feet.
Okay.
So we have two teams of these stationed that we deploy out on the field. There's 3 of these in one unit, in one team, and there's 4 of those in one team, and they cover the width of our runways, which is 150 feet.
And this you see right here, this multifunction unit does 3 things at once. It plows, it brushes, and it blows the snow away to make sure that things are looking good here at CVG.
Treating runways is different than treating roads. Keenosh says standard de-icers are too harsh for airports and can damage planes.
We use other chemicals, whether those be in liquid or solid format, and depending on temperatures, depending on a lot of conditions and different things, we also can use sand to increase the friction on those surfaces.
Once the ramps and terminals are clear, the planes themselves need de-icing. Hazlip says each airline handles that, but they all follow a similar routine.
They use boom trucks, they're called de-icers, and they use a chemical called glycol. But then when they're ready to taxi out, they go to a designated spot here on the airport, and that's where they're attacked by probably 3 or 4 trucks at a time, on each 1 or 2 on each wing, and then they're de-icing all the critical surfaces on the aircraft.
From the skies to the slopes, meteorologist Brad Moushart has the latest on how Perfect North Slopes actually performs their duties during the wintertime.
In the Midwest, ski resorts can't count on Mother Nature alone. Winters here are too unreliable.
Our average opening day has remained consistent, and we've been able to do that with upgrading our snowmaking systems, technologies, really trying to stay on the cutting edge of that stuff.
And the challenge keeps growing. Since the 1980s, when Perfect North Slopes first opened, the tri-state has seen less snowfall and far fewer days with temperatures cold enough to make it. That's a tough combination for Midwest skiing. So instead of waiting for winter, Perfect North Slopes builds it.
We've got complex fan guns with massive fan blades spinning and around a perfect cone of specialized nozzles, making sure that we can make tons of volume of snow when it's cold.
Snowmaking starts with water and air pushed through snowmaking machines when temperatures drop just low enough.
There's about 200 mostly power-mounted snow guns. So there's about 15 guys that monitor each guy picks a run or a set of guns, and they check them every hour, or especially if temperatures look like they're changing.
Tiny droplets freeze before they hit the ground, slowly building a boardable, tubable, and skiable base.
So our biggest upgrades, which are not visible to the normal skier or snowboarder, is we're upgrading all the pipes, all the pumps that send water up and out to each snow gun, so that when our cold temperature windows get shorter, if they do in fact get shorter, we're ready to send as much water and air out to the hill so we can use every minute of cold temperatures.
This isn't just a few machines filling in the bare spots. It's more than 200 snowmaking machines working together, often overnight, to cover the entire hillside when conditions cooperate.
We can make snow, quality snow, at 28 degrees and lower. When it's in the teens, that's when we're making excellent snow. Cold, dry air is really what we're after.
This is like a perfect day when it comes to snow because, like,
so
typically,
light, so dry.
Yeah, because it doesn't happen often out here that you have a day where it's, single digits or below 0 temperatures where they get to make snow all night, to where you're skiing and you're sinking in.
Yeah, these are super exciting weather conditions for us. We love it when it's in the teens and below, because we can add as much moisture to the snowmaking that we can, get a lot of volume, and it's actually super quality snow.
Once the snow is down, snowcats take over. Groomers push snow where it's needed, pack it tightly, and smooth the surface.
Warm temperatures are uncomfortable, but we'll manage. The snow kind of insulates itself and kind of gets a little glacier-like and can resist plenty of heat.
That dense snow holds up a lot longer during warm periods in heavy traffic.
We were out there getting video earlier, the snow groomers. What's the purpose of that when it comes to making snow?
They do two things, mostly. We make snow, it stacks up in a big pile, and they're the bulldozer to knock down those piles and make a smooth surface throughout the ski area. So the front of a snowcat's pushing the snow around, getting it into places we need it, and the rear is the tiller. It drags a comb through the snow to smooth out any imperfections and make for a super fun riding surface.
But snow has enemies. Sunshine, warm air, wind, and rain all work against it.
Rain and the snow is, I just don't like it. It gets people out of the skiing and snowboarding mindset.
It would do a lot of damage to the snow, obviously, that you have to the snowpack, right?
Yeah. It certainly changes its composition and certainly trends towards maybe those piles of snow in the parking lots, or it gets a little gray in color, and
gloomy,
I don't like that.
Alongside traditional snow machines, Perfect North Slopes is now using new technology that can make snow even when temperatures don't fully cooperate.
They've come up with an all-weather snowmaking system, and we have two of them here at the slopes, and we have them at the top of the hill to keep the chairlifts running and open as early as possible. Literally talking about getting a silver drum, super cold, drizzling water around the outsides, shaving off the frozen water and blasting into the air and making snow at any temperature.
It's like a giant snow cone maker, essentially.
This isn't just about technology, it's about access. It's about making sure winter still exists here in the Midwest.
They spray the water that's in our lake out, it freezes as snow, and then come springtime it melts as water and returns to the pond, and we recycle the water every year.
Winter may be changing, but the goal has not. At Perfect North Slopes, snow is built with purpose, cared for, and shared. For this generation and the next. Reporting from Perfect North Slopes in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, I'm meteorologist Brad Moussard.
Hi, everybody. I'm First Alert Chief Meteorologist Stephanie Roberts. Thank you so much for joining us for Weather Tech and the Tri-State. Wow, it has already been a crazy start to our winter season. Up, down, roller coasters all over the place. And right now, less than 20% of the country doesn't even have snow cover. So we are really seeing a lot of different things happen already this winter weather season, and that includes right here at home. So December was obviously very snowy for us. The season, including our first November snowfall, took us to 13.4 inches as of December 27th. How does that stack up to average? A lot closer than you'd want to be this time in December if you aren't looking for a snowy season. So we are already at 59% of our season total, and we are just starting the season. So what happens next is the big question. Well, we're going to be watching a lot of different patterns, but it is helpful to note where we stack up seasonally. And you can see that 2025 comes in number 6 on the list of all-time snowiest starts to the season. Again, as of December 27th. So it's not record-breaking, but it definitely is worth mentioning because most years, the bulk of our snow is obviously January and February. So a normal 30-year average January gives us 7.7 inches, February 6.7, March 3.4 inches, and I hate to tell you, but over the 30-year average, there is even about 0.4 of an inch recorded in April, but we don't want to think about that. So lots of different factors are playing into this year's winter outlook, but probably the biggest one is the fact that overall we are in a weak La Nina pattern. Well, what does that mean? That means we have chances for above average precipitation, but that doesn't define what kind of winter we're going to have in terms of snow. It just means that it could be wet. The temperatures are where we are the key here in the Ohio Valley. With near normal temperatures, cold air really becomes our wild card. Remember, the Ohio Valley is right on that rain-snow line here in the tri-state. So if we get the cold air, it's not going to be hard to have that above average snowfall since the precipitation will be falling as snow. Now, normally our snowiest time is from January 20th to February 15th. So that's what we'll be watching for, and we hope that you'll be watching right along with us. Remember, you can always download the First Alert Weather app for the very latest weather conditions. Thanks for joining us.